engage the services of one we met 2 days ago.
I don't know, there's a problem with the audio. It's not coming out. But this particular individual...
Form connected to this. Let it be stated clearly here that I have...
Ughelli South. He said that he made the disclosure while speaking with the news crew in an exclusive interview at an undisclosed location. He said he was shocked to see it in the news that he's among 7 persons declared wanted. And speaking further, he stressed that the Delta State government is aware of his position and has been labelled wanted came as a surprise. It will be recalled that 4 soldiers and 13 soldiers as well were on May 14th killed. That is on that matter. We also have another message here. It's from, because we've seen the incessant killings, or death rather, of 2 actors in the space of 2-3 weeks. We saw the death of Mr. Ibu, and then after that we saw the death of another another actor as well. So because of that, we are seeing statements being made by the president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, and he talked about the fact that Zakoji, because there's been news about Zakoji's death, and he talked about the fact that Zakoji underwent brain surgery and he's not dead, right? So let's check it out.
And of course, Amechi was deeply diabetic. Therefore, you cannot even cut him. If you lay any knife on Amechi Monago, he will not get healing. Even the doctors who were handling him knew this, because I was there on the 2nd of December. And handling him knew this, because I was there on the 2nd of December in the company of Bob Manuel Udoku and Chinedu Kedieze, and of course, Ejamat, one of our patrons. From the day I went to that hospital was when we began to raise funds for him directly to his account, because we needed him to see if they could resuscitate some of those organs in his body. We have often said from our position in the guild that before we get to that point where we are asking for funds to take you to any hospital abroad, we must have an overview of what it will cost. We'll have a doctor's reference. We'll have the prognosis of the patient. There was a time we wanted to fly Ibu abroad, but when we escalated the doctor's reference and his prognosis, almost all the hospitals in India and America rejected him and said, whoever that has this prognosis cannot survive flights to any country. You see, because of the internet age, people just want to grow their page on the internet and they can spew nonsense. That was why somebody woke up yesterday morning, Tuesday, and claimed that Zakoji had passed on. Then I quickly reacted. Zak is never in a position of seriously needing an attention as to speak. If not because of privacy, I would have just connected him on phone here on video.
All right. Well, that is the voice of Emeka Rolas, who is the president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, talking about some of the demise that has happened within Nollywood. Anyway, we'll be checking out some of the big stories today. Of course, it is the holidays, but we know that the news doesn't sleep. So we'll go on a short, really short break. And then when we come back, we'll be joined by El-Rufai Hussaini. Do stay with us.
As a sharp business owner, you know you need to advertise your business, right? You need the adverts. So, what better platform to advertise than with VOP 96.1 FM? Our rates are friendly, our reach extensive. Take that bold step and advertise that business today. Give us a call on 081 799 29729. or visit our office at number 4 Ogbomosho Street, Romeo's Pizza Building, Area 8, Abuja. See ya!
Bye there.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala.
Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewo.
Edio.
Tutuama.
Keideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the morning ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's Morning Ride. Weekdays. Good morning. Good morning.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated,
thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Frontpage Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now, you have a voice.
The question now is, these individuals who have been declared wanted, how exactly did we reach this list of wanted individuals? How did we get the names of these individuals, and then what exactly will be their fate moving forward?
And that's why we must try as much as possible to do the needful. That's just it. We must try as much as possible to do the needful, to ensure that the investigations are done properly. It's not just a witch hunt. Just like see what they did to Pa Ike Clark. You know, most of these things are just a witch hunt. So let's be careful. Let's do the needful so that we don't fall into that trap.
All right, moving on to another story this morning. We have military killing 212 terrorists as the court frees 313 Boko Haram suspects. Federal High Court in Borno State has ordered the release of no fewer than 313 suspected terrorists arrested by the military, and the court ordered their release for lack of evidence to nail them. This was as the DHQ on Thursday said that troops neutralized 121 terrorists and apprehended 253 and rescued 244 kidnapped hostages in different operations nationwide within the course of the week. Rufai, this particular situation of lack of evidence to nail individuals, especially when cases go to court, what can be done about it?
Proper investigation. When you do proper investigation, you have enough evidence to nail individual. When you don't do proper investigation, you look like a fool on the court. That's why we keep talking about the FCC all this while. That when you go out there, you must have your investigation properly done. Pure and simple.
But why would you go to court if you do not have very, very concrete evidence against these guys? Why would you bother wasting taxpayers' monies if you do not have the evidence to ensure that these guys are nabbed and nailed for their crimes?
So you don't know that doing shoddy job has become a favorite Nigerian pastime business. When we don't get anything right in terms of investigation, then we are so quick to explore the court process. Friday, and have a wonderful Easter period. Bless you.
Thank you so much. All right, to you listening, you have the opportunity to call 0700 010 961 961 0700 010 961 961. Don't forget, we're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. Join us live on YouTube. We'll take a break and pay some bills. When we come back, we'll be checking out the conversation with Mr. Larry Oguego. So make sure that you're keeping it locked right here on VOP 96.1 FM.
VOP 96.1 FM.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop from the Lagos Airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me, Easter. This month of Easter, advertise with VOP 96.1 FM.
Come on!
Spend 100,000 naira on adverts and get 10 slots of jingles for free. So, call Sal on 0817 992 9729 for more information.
Yeah!
Happy Easter!
Hey, neighbor, come. This one where you wear spaghetti top, leggings and koi shoe. Where you they go this morning?
My brother, I dey rush go VOP. Make Oga Caretaker help me advertise my business on top trading posts. Make me sell follow blow.
Correct, neighbor. If you get house, land, motor or property where you want sell sharp to raise money, use Japa or to complete that your special project, bring and come trading post. You dey sell restaurant, hotel, nightclub or beer parlor? You be mechanic, spare parts dealer, AC repairer, photo studio, school, church, importer or exporter? Bring and come trading post. Trading post na the ogbonge marketplace on top radio where people they buy and people they sell them are they meet sharp. Trading post they sell every Monday to Friday from 15 minutes past 8 o'clock in the morning. Bonquem on top of Voice of the People 96.1 FM to advertise your own business for small shikili money. Make you call Oga Caretaker on top 0807 660 6162 or make you carry waka come with office wait there for number 4 Obomosho Street, wait there for Garaki area 8 Abuja. No dey for water soap enter your ayo. Trading post, ya sharp marketplace on top radio.
I'm coming in hot.
Now, you can enjoy the original taste of premium American Romeo's Pizza. Juicy, just the way you like it. To order online from Guarimpa, call 090-8831-5908. Gariki 090-8831-5906. And Lupe 090-9238-9861. Romeo's Pizza. The Pizza Champions.
Coming in hot, just like the beat.
Yeah, VOP TV. VOP TV. We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at VOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. VOP TV, show up, speak up. VOP TV.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM.
To lead us through this valley of the shadow of death. That is my major prayer for him, that God will give him the courage not to lead on the basis of favoritism, not to lead on the basis of who gets what from my tribe or my church or my relations. It's a difficult task to lead Nigeria. That's the truth of the matter. So he needs divine courage. He needs uncanny wisdom. He needs the kind of wisdom that is uncommon. He needs to be creative to tackle to tackle problems and bring solutions that will work to the table. So my wish is that God will help him prosper in wisdom to the extent that he can lead this country out of the valley of the shadow of death. He can lead this country through this very trying period. And if he's able to do that, it will be said that he was one of the greatest that we have ever seen. Mr. President, I wish you good health, because you need it to navigate the demands of your office. I also wish you a sharp mind, because you need to be able to sort out critical problems per time. And most importantly, I wish you good friends who will give you good advice. Even if it doesn't put money in their own pockets, you need them at this time.
All right, that is for Mr. President. Now we're looking at Nigeria as a whole. In Delta State, a particular traditional ruler of Ewu and Urhobo Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Clement Ogenerukewe Ikolo, who was declared wanted by the military over the killing of 17 soldiers in Okuama community in Delta State, has now surrendered to the police for investigation. 8 people were, declared wanted for the death of those 17 soldiers in Okuama community in Delta State. And he had shared a voice note, a message earlier, where he was stating he wasn't even aware that he was being fingered, and he doesn't even know why that is happening, but he's surrendered to investigations. And of late we've been talking about individuals who have been fingered in one way or the other, surrendering to the law, to the process of the law, and allowing the law take its course. And if you're innocent,
allowing only the military to conduct the investigation, not just because they're emotionally involved, but also because it's not their core duty to conduct such investigation. What I'm thinking is that there should be a multilateral investigation team. There should be a team, because of the level of importance of this. There should be a team, not necessarily from outside, but a joint investigation team. Because we need the expertise of DSS, we need the expertise of the police. They have been involved in investigations more frequently. We need the expertise of some people in the military who have been interfacing with these people on the basis of military intelligence. So I would suggest that we have a joint investigation team that will seek to genuinely unravel what happened. Not just because we are looking at how to punish the people who killed these 17 soldiers, but we're also looking at getting all of the information that will enable us ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. And investigation should be just beyond the criminal aspect. So we should even, for me, spread the investigation team further, so that people who have capacity to look at social issues, to find the underlying causes, we can investigate only the immediate, but we can also go deeper and ask ourselves, what are the underlying causes of this? Not just to speculate. Are there peculiar things that happen in some of these communities that make them amenable to this kind of situation? So I think we need to have that kind of investigation panel that will look beyond even the immediate crime and ask questions about how it is that the communities will be terrorized by a few persons for years and nobody seems to talk. How is it that, like, some of the suspects is said to be a philanthropist, and then people love him because he's a philanthropist, but nobody asks how he gets the money for the philanthropy? These are all the issues we have to look at, because when people are hungry and you give them food, sometimes they won't ask this to know the source of the food. We have to really conduct a thorough investigation, and we need to look beyond the immediate crime so that we won't have to deal with this kind of crime again.
All right, let's move on to this issue of kidnapping here in the country. We're having the military killing about 212 terrorists, and the court itself freeing 313 Boko Haram suspects due to lack of evidence to nail them. Just how important is it that we understand the place of evidence gathering in our justice system, legislative system, right? Because we see a lot of cases where cases are thrown out of court because of lack of evidence, and now we're seeing individuals who are suspected terrorists, 313 of them, released back into the society. Who knows? Should these individuals actually be terrorists themselves? You've just taken them back to where they were in the first place, and you've given them back their guns and ammunitions. You've given them back the opportunity to get those guns and ammunitions and perpetrate evil and wreak havoc within the people in the community. So just how important is evidence gathering in this?
That is why it's important that we know where to deploy our military and how to deploy them. That is why it's important that even if we must deploy them to manage civilian situations, we have to train them. The court is not emotional. You see, when a matter is brought to court, you have to convince the court beyond reasonable doubt that the person is guilty. And the court deals with evidence-based submissions. So you don't say, oh, he looks like a terrorist, or I saw him with a gun. Armed robbers also carry guns, hunters carry guns. So you have to prove that he doesn't only have a gun, but that gun is for the purpose of terrorism. And the military is not equipped to do all that. So we need to be careful about how we do our operations we do. When we arrest people, assuming the military arrests people, there should be a process for managing them. So the police should be involved. The Ministry of Justice, where you have the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and all of those people, should be involved. That's people who understand evidence. So from that point they were arrested, proper evidence gathering and management should be in place. We need to also understand that sometimes suspects manipulate trial processes, because if the prosecutor is compromised, the prosecutor will present shoddy evidence as a way to let the suspect go home. So we need to look at some of these things. I mean, if a person has a bad case, one of the ways to escape in Nigeria is to compromise your prosecutor. Because if the prosecutor doesn't provide watertight evidence in court, the court will say you didn't prove beyond reasonable doubt and allow the person to go. And this thing is based on the fact that rather than convict one innocent person, free 10 guilty persons. In other words, there's this kind of pain that and disillusionment that it causes for a person who is totally innocent, and because of emotional submissions and all of that, the court will say, oh, this person is guilty. It has happened even in advanced countries where people served long jail terms without being guilty. In those countries, they are compensated. In Nigeria, there is no compensation for mistrial. So we just have to understand that the soldiers cannot carry the burden of managing evidence. I think we must get to that point where we do whatever we can to equip our police to be able to do this jobs. But for now that the military is doing them, we have to train special units to do them. We have to find a way to fortify their capacity to understand civilian processes, so that we don't just arrest people, give them an holiday, and send them away. We need to know that they actually did this thing, and we can prove it. Another thing we should also realize is that the fact that a person was arrested doesn't mean that the person is necessarily a terrorist. Sometimes terrorists actually abduct people in real life and try to force them to become terrorists. But the big question becomes, how do you draw the line between the willing terrorists and those who may claim to have been forced to stay with them? These things need expertise, they need investigation, they need evidence gathering and presentation. And that is why we can't leave too much in the hands of the military. They are trained to fight wars, not to pursue insurgents all over the place.
So in this particular situation where we can't really tell, those that were forced into banditry from those who willingly, joined it. So in that kind of situation, what do we do? What do we really do? Because if you have a situation where you can't tell if this person is a real bandit or this person was forced into banditry, whether he was kidnapped by hook or by crook, or he was born in the den of these kidnappers and then forced to be a part of them, how then do we move forward? How then does the court even juxtapose between these two individuals?
I think we need to, first of all, have a system that will observe these people post-arrest. We have to screen them and then screen them, talk to them, observe them. Well, what I mean by that is we have the capacity and the power to go and get a court order to detain them because you got them in a very serious crime scene. The court is likely to grant that.
Apologies, we'll reach back to Mr. Larry Oguego, but do stay tuned. We'll connect right back with Mr. Larry Oguego. We lost him. All right, join the conversation this morning. If you're listening, go ahead and call us on YouTube. It is at leave a comment on our YouTube page. It is at Voice of the People Abuja, and then on regular WhatsApp call, it's at 0700 010 961 961. All right, we have Mr. Larry back. Sorry, apologies for that break.
So yes, one thing we must do when we apprehend such persons in large numbers, so even few of them, is to find out who they are and their story. Some of them will be defiant and tell you that I'm a member of so and so and I do this for this reason. That's a different kettle of fish. But for the people who may say, no, I was born into this, or I was abducted from my village, it's verifiable. If somebody says I'm from XYZ village, and we can find out people from that village are still alive. They know whether there was a raid. They know whether he was abducted. And then even if he's abducted, he may have been indoctrinated to now believe in Boko Haram. And so there should be a system where we can separate people after arrest and know exactly what they are saying. And based on what they are saying, you can observe, and then you can also, for some, rehabilitation may be the proper thing to do. And sometimes we cry about rehabilitation. Let's call a spade a spade. If a person is genuinely abducted, sometimes they raid villages. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. They abduct young people. When I say young people, sometimes children who are 12, 14 years, and compel them to become soldiers. The question now becomes, do we have the expertise to find out that these people were compelled? And then, do we also have the expertise to find out that they don't have sympathy for those who abducted them now at this time? Because some of them may be abducted, indoctrinated so well that they now genuinely work for their masters. But some, even after 2-3 years of fighting alongside those men, may be wishing to escape. These are facts of life. The fact that a person was caught with a gun inside the Sambisa forest doesn't mean that the person is a willing terrorist. I mean, all over the world, terrorists actually sometimes force people to work with them, but we need to have sophisticated systems to find out who did what and what was the motive. If a person is forced at gunpoint to do these things, you can't hold the person accountable for those actions. So I think we need to separate the real terrorists and bandits from people who may have been forced. And those who may have been forced, we can do rehabilitation and observation, which is a long-term process, rehabilitation and observation. But we also need to be open in managing information. What I mean is a situation where we just say, we have freed 300 or 400 Boko Haram suspects. Sometimes we actually say, that they are genuine Boko Haram suspects, to want to rehabilitate them. That is, it's in bad taste. A lot of citizens who don't understand what you're saying about why you should rehabilitate them and how you can assure them that if this person was genuinely and willingly a terrorist, that he has repented. It's a tough job. It's a tough job for the soldier who worked there at night to arrest him, only for you to just inform him that, I've rehabilitated him and he's okay now. I would prefer that we separate those who were victims from those who were genuinely terrorizing us, and then we'll give them different kinds of treatment. And that needs high level of expertise, which I suspect personally that we don't have. And that is partly where we need foreign intervention, training, help.
All right.
So that we can do these things well.
All right, let's move on to Oyo State, where the governor of the state is to punish teachers over illegal fee collections. Mr. Larry, I served in Oyo State, Ibadan, and in the school where I served, we had teachers who would bring up one frivolous thing and say, okay, students should come and pay 500 naira. 1,000 naira, and when you collect all the 1,000 nairas, the 500 nairas, when you get all of them together and you calculate, it's a lot of money for these teachers at the end of the day. So when you see situations like this in public schools where teachers are forcing children, pupils, to pay monies where the government has said this is free, it's a very, 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 very funny situation that we're in.
Well, I think it's the fault of the government. They don't enforce what they say. They don't have feedback mechanisms. I've worked very hard to help some governments design proper feedback mechanisms, and most of the time they are not interested. It's unfortunate. We have leaders who don't want to get feedback from the people. They get all their feedback from the same people who mislead us. And that is wrong. So if you run an educational system where you say that education is free and they shouldn't pay for anything, You should have a system that will give you feedback from parents and their children, not just from the teachers and the supervisors of education and the commissioner and all of those people. Because if they collect all these illegal monies, at the end of the day, they will not tell you. They won't include it in their report. So there must be a system that enables a political leader to get feedback on what is happening around him. It, unfortunately, is not happening in Nigeria. So I blame the governors who will sit in their fancy government houses that they build with billions of naira and just say they are making pronouncements. Almost everywhere that they say education is free in Nigeria, it's not free. Teachers and school administrators impose illegal fees, and the students pay them because they don't know how to reach the administration. To say the administration and the governors to say, no, this is what they're asking us to do. So that is the problem. Of course, I have a friend whose ward was in a public school in Enugu, and they asked them to pay for tissue paper. And I told my friend, when he complained, I said, don't pay. Tell the ward to tell the people that you will not pay, that if they harass her, that you will take it up. And they left her alone. If you see how they were pampering that girl after that, because they realized that this one, her people won't pay and they will take it up. So I think we need to get to that point where leaders should set up communication mechanisms, but I should also challenge parents. If they don't set up these communication mechanisms, take the benefit of social media, take the opportunities offered by radio stations that will say, oh, phone in, they have programs, they ask you to phone. If you scan radio stations, you see the radio stations that will have related programs. If they don't, you can even ask the radio station, you need to discuss this, it's becoming rampant. They will discuss it, and then by the time you begin to talk about it, the government will be embarrassed, they will do something about it. The people also need to know that they are supposed to be watchdogs. Even when their feedback is unwanted, they should give it by force. We need to begin to tell these people what they're doing to us, whether they want to hear us or not. That is one way to stop this madness.
All right, let's move on to Lagos State. This particular story is really interesting because it has to do with Benga Daniel's son. That's Adebola Daniel, the son of Benga Daniel, the former governor of Ogun State. And FAN yesterday shut down a particular eatery in MMA Lagos due to discrimination concerning the fact that he's on a wheelchair. So basically what happened was he walked into that particular eatery to have some sort of lunch or whatever with his family, and they stopped him from entering, saying that there were no wheelchairs allowed. So I'm just going to recount what he said. He said, just as we were about to sit, the lady who was the manager called out loudly, no wheelchairs allowed. She refused to listen to reason and stood her ground that particular eatery at MMA branch, wheelchairs and wheelchair users of all shapes and sizes were not permitted on the premises, and they should leave immediately. At this point in time, you begin to wonder just how important is this conversation of making public spaces very conducive for individuals living with disabilities.
We have a law, we have the Disability Act. It's not just about emotions or even making conducive. You see, I would want to advise the Daniels of a guy to take out action. That's, in fact, that manager just practically put herself in harm's way, in legal trouble, because she openly just ran foul of the Disability Act. We're not discussing discretionary powers here. We're not discussing abeg. There is a law in Nigeria that says you should not discriminate. That is in our constitution under fundamental human rights. It is wrong to discriminate against a person based on the circumstances of birth and all of that. So what she did amounts to discrimination. She can be sued for that. But when you now go to the Disability Act in Nigeria, the current Disability Act that talks about the rights of persons living with disabilities, in fact, this woman and that business is in trouble. If they actually came out publicly to say we don't allow wheelchairs, says who? By law, they are supposed to make the business premises accessible to persons with disabilities, including people with wheelchairs. In fact, the law gave some time frame for all public buildings, all buildings that human beings enter, to have ramps to enable people with wheelchairs to access the building. Now, it's a law that within this time, all the buildings would have been converted, theaters, hospitals, halls, schools, everywhere to have ramps. So you cannot come to a country where we are working hard to be inclusive, to bring persons with disability into the mainstream. The law even talks about giving them jobs as per legally giving them jobs to a certain minimum percentage. The law talks about so many things, giving them appointment, and then you are talking about that they won't even eat food in your shop. So I think they should not only just discuss this on radio and social media, they should be punished by law. They should, if they don't know how to manage this, they should call me. I would advise them free of charge what they should do so that other businesses and persons who choose to be ignorant of the law will wake up to the fact that ignorance is not an excuse. We have laws in Nigeria about disability, and we shouldn't allow people to think that it's not about pity, it's about the law. We live in a democracy where there's supposed to be the rule of law. At least for those we cannot catch yet, we'll be trying to catch them. For the people we can catch, we'll catch them immediately. For the politicians that we are grappling with, we are playing with the rule of law, and we keep trying. But for all these other mere mortals like us, who will want to make life impossible for us too, we can catch those ones sharp. And when we catch them, it will be a lesson for other people who want to make. I mean, it's bad enough that this guy is in a wheelchair, and then you want to make his life even more miserable. Says who? We have laws. It's not about emotions. I'm not discussing the emotions here. I'm not discussing whether we should be nice or not. I'm just saying that we should be law-abiding. And when people run foul of the law should punish them. So we should punish them. Yes, we can call them out. We can boycott them. We should begin to do things in this country. We're not serious. Because let me tell you this, and it's important. If you are listening to me and you are wondering, why am I talking like this? Is he living with disability? Let me shock you. Any one of us who is still not living with disability is walking around just by the grace of God. One accident, home accident, car accident, illness, converts a physically fit person to a person living with disability. Just one. So when I tell people, fight for them, it could be your turn next. They don't listen until it becomes their turn. I've seen people who listen to me speak at conferences on this matter because I'm a patron of persons living with disability in some states in the southeast, and I work with them closely. And when I say this, and some people listen to me and say, "Oh, that makes sense." Then a few years later, they become PWs. I say, "Larry, you know that thing you were saying, eh? I think I understand you now. How can I help?" You want to help after you have become a person with disability. Why don't you help before now? So let all of us hold people accountable. We have laws. Maybe stations like yours should champion these things. People should know. We have laws. It's an offense in Nigeria to actually refuse to move a person because that is your public transport services provider. Like you have a taxi and you refuse to pick a person because he has crutches and it will take space in your vehicle. It's an offense even before the Disability Act. But we don't know these things. You cannot stop and say, "Where are you going?" I say, "Okay, because of the clutches, or you pack which I won't take you again." Those things are not supposed to apply, but we don't know. And because we don't know, we behave anyhow. This is a sad story. We shouldn't allow this kind of thing to continue. I'm really not happy about this.
All right. Just in a developing nature, the FAN has decided to shut down that particular outlet at the MMA airport. So I think it's a good development. All right. Thank you so much for joining us this holiday. I wish you and your family a very, very peaceful and restful holiday as well.
Yeah, we are going to enjoy ourselves, and in the spirit of Easter, we are also going to go through a spiritual renewal and regeneration. I was waiting for Simeon Sunday to ask his question, and unfortunately, he's not here today.
We're doing a shift thing. He'll be around on Monday. Well, I stand in for today.
Well, thanks for this opportunity to look at the things that affect all of us, and I hope that everybody's listening to the voice of the people.
All right, thank you so much and have yourself a wonderful weekend.
You too.
To you listening, thank you so much for listening to the Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesire Agua. In the spirit of Easter, make sure you rest and enjoy yourselves. All right, good morning.